Okay, so I am not the most attractive right now. It's very early morning. I didn't sleep last night. I was up late watching videos about paranormal happenings and things, and just kind of freaked me out, so I wasn't really able to go to sleep. Well, I was watching one about, it's Shane Dawson and Bunny, and they were talking about their paranormal experiences. And so I actually wrote on one of the, I think it was Bunny's channel, I wrote a comment about my paranormal experiences, one of my many paranormal experiences when I was a kid. And this one in particular, it was after my mom had gotten a new job, and she was working as a apartment manager for an apartment up in Northern California. And when she got this job opportunity, automatically she was like, okay, this is going to be great because I'm a single mom and I'm going to be able to support and take better care of my kids. And when we first moved in there, the owner of the apartment complex told us, oh, the unit that you're going to be moving into, it's brand new, refurbished. We ended up having to take out the carpets and everything and redo everything, and never questioned it, because why would we question it? You know, there was no reason to. And so we moved in there. We ended up moving in like a couple days after my mom had talked to the manager and gotten her job and everything, because he wanted her in there now. And it wasn't the place that we were initially going to be moving into, like, to stay the next couple of years that we lived there. Excuse me. But the first 6 months that we lived there, the apartment we lived in was just weird. It was weird. We got sick there a lot, and I remember a lot of fights happening, a lot of aggressive behavior from everybody who stayed with us, anyone who came over to visit. It's just like everyone became aggravated and irritated living there, or staying there. We lived there and we were aggravated and irritated a lot. So over time, we started noticing strange things, and one of the weirdest experiences I had, the one that I wrote on Graveyard Girl's wall or comment section, I think it's the comment section. Anyways, so the comment I left was the story that I'm gonna tell you about. So when I was 10, and it was, I think, a couple months after we had moved in there, I came home from school. I wasn't feeling good. I felt really sick to my stomach. I had a headache, and I remember just feeling awful, and I remember telling my mom, I don't feel good, I'm gonna go lay down. And she and I shared the same room because our apartment was only a 2-bedroom. And so I didn't have a problem with it. I loved my mom. I'm a mama's girl. I hang out with her all the time. So I went and laid down in my bed, and I remember I was only in there for about 20 minutes when it started feeling like someone was lifting up the other side of the bed, like on the floor, like someone was like pushing up the bed over and over again. And I remember rolling over, slamming my hand down and screaming, stop it. Stop it. Stop what you're doing. I'm tired of you doing that, Travis, because I thought it was my brother, Travis. I remember screaming and yelling at him, going, stop. Well, when I rolled over and smacked my arm on the opposite side of the bed fell down really hard, like someone had, oh, okay, well, she's had enough, I'll quit. So I remember looking over, and no one was there. And I remember going and kind of like looking under my bed, and I remember hearing like chuckling, like giggling laughter, like ha 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 ha. And that could have come from the other room. And so I got up out of bed, I went down to my brother's room, opened his door, and I remember started yelling at him, screaming at him, stay out of my room, I don't know what the hell you're doing in there, messing with me when I'm not feeling good, I feel sick. And he looked at me from his game for like a second and goes, I don't have time to talk to you right now. And he was just hooked on his game. So I went out to the living room, My mom was coming out of the kitchen. She sat back down on the couch, and I'm talking to her saying, can you tell Travis to stop coming in there and messing with me while I'm trying to sleep? He keeps coming in there, and he's pushing up the bottom of the bed over and over again, and it's keeping me awake. And so she told me, she goes, well, I've been sitting here since you got home, and I haven't seen him once leave his room. So that kind of freaked me out, but I was like, okay, well, maybe he did it when she wasn't looking or something. My brother was sneaky and liked to mess with me. So I decided, okay, well, I'll go back to bed. And she was talking about dinner, and I said, well, I don't really feel like eating right now. I just want to go and try and sleep. So I go back, come back in here, I lay down. Not in here. I'm tired. Not in here. I don't live there anymore, thank God. I went back to my bedroom. I laid back down, and I don't know how long I was asleep for. It probably wasn't very long. And it felt like someone came into the room. Oh, and I shut the door this time. I had shut the door this time. And I laid back down because I wanted to make sure that my brother wasn't coming back in. And if he did open the door, I'd be able to hear it. So I could roll over and yell at him to, get out of my room. So I am laying down, and I didn't hear the door open, but it felt like someone came and laid next to me. And I, in my sleeping sick stupor, I thought it was my mom. So I rolled over expecting to see my mom, and there was no one there. And that still freaks me out to this day. There was nobody laying beside me, but there was an indent like a body was laying next to me. So I put my hand in the middle of the indent where the back would have been, and the bed just raises back up. And I was in such shock and horror. I jumped out of bed. I ran down the hall. Oh, and the door was open by this point too. I don't know how I didn't hear that, but the door was open. And when I put my hand down on the bed and my hand lifted up, I heard the giggling again, and then it sounded like someone ran out the door. And I remember I jumped up, I ran out of the bedroom, ran to the kitchen. My mom was in there making dinner this time, and I didn't talk to my mom about anything paranormal that happened to me over the course of my life when I was little. Never talked to her about that stuff, because I didn't want anyone thinking I was nuts. I didn't want anyone thinking that I was experiencing anything. I just didn't want to deal with it. So I just asked Mom, well, I'm gonna sleep in here, and I'm not going to sleep in there. Just let me know when dinner's ready. And I remember she made me ramen, chicken ramen. That was my favorite. And so years went by, and finally, as an adult, I was able to talk to my mom about the paranormal things that I'd experienced. I was able to tell her a lot of the stuff that I'd experienced as a kid. And when I told her about that one in particular, she told me, she goes, I never felt safe being alone when you guys were at school, and if I had the day off and I was alone in that apartment, she goes, I didn't stay there. She goes, there were so many times that I saw black shadows, black figures walking around. And then she said too, once we went to the other apartment, the one that we were supposed to be in for her management position, because the management position she had, it was a position where she could, the apartment was right next door to the office, and that was the main reason why she took it originally, was because she thought we were just going to be moving into there, and then during the day and during the summer she could just walk over to the house, check on my brother and I, and then go right back to work. So my mom, after we ended up moving to the new apartment, she ended up finding some of the paperwork on that apartment, because she was kind of curious, like, why were all these strange things happening? And then she said too, when she'd be cleaning the apartment, like different times that we lived there, she would find these little like red specks on things. And she would just kind of clean it off and just kind of think about, well, maybe it's, Colette and Travis getting dirt somewhere or mucus or who knows. But she would clean it up, not knowing what it was. Well, then she read the reports and everything for that apartment complex, and the husband and wife that lived there, they'd only lived there for 6 months, and the husband had beat his wife so badly, they said that all the walls were covered in blood, the carpet was just drenched in blood, there was drag marks from the dining room and living room back into the bedroom where she died. So she died in the bedroom that I had been sleeping in, and my mom had been sleeping in. So very freaky. Yeah, when she told me that, when she found out, what had happened there. And then we never really talked about it much after that. Like, after I found out about that, and she said, well, it was really spooky, it was really, creepy, but, it was a place to live. But, like, after we moved to the new apartment, I would never walk past there. I never went over to that side. I never climbed those stairs ever, because I didn't want to be anywhere near that apartment. And then there was this one time this lady wanted me to watch her apartment for her while she was gone, and she lived in the next unit over that was up those stairs. I never went up there. I just asked my mom if she would do it. I'm like, I can't. I don't want to go up there, Mom. I don't want to go up there, because it was just horrible memories for me. No way was I going to go up there. Oh, hell no. So that's my story. I have more, a lot more, that I'll probably end up posting on here, but I don't think anyone's ever going to see it, because I'm not a famous YouTuber. But very scary story. So I'll see you guys next time, maybe. Bye.